girl Shelby Alexandria with my boy
Josh, live and in color.
and
Just Ricky.
and we are Unfiltered ATX, and this is our Unfiltered Overtime. So, let the people know, Josh, why we even have this.
Basically, guys, we realized that we just like to talk to y'all a lot. And the little 2 hours that we got isn't enough. And we realized that we only get to see y'all once a month live on air. And so that's not enough. We feel like we want to get out and have more conversations with y'all, talk to y'all a little bit more. So we're going to try to put these out once a week. There's going to be our overtime segments where we're just going to talk about a topic real quick, give y'all something that you guys can tweet at us about, have conversations with us. Just keep us talking with y'all, keep you talking with us until we get back on the air. I believe February 24th is when we're next live on air. So I want to bring this question up to you guys.
We don't let them know what we talked about January 28th.
I mean, we could.
And we talked about Valentine's
if you was
Day.
live, you were live, you already tuned in.
you already seen it.
But for those that didn't, for the newcomers, new fans, it's lit. Thank y'all for watching. But we talked about Valentine's Day.
Yeah, we had a conversation about Valentine's Day.
And the Oscars and stuff like that.
Sterling K. Brown.
Yeah.
Boy sweeping up the SAG Awards. Get Out.
And the Golden Globes.
The Golden Globes. Seeing Jordan Peele come as his first directing movie.
Yeah.
And him turning out.
At the Oscars. So we're
at the Oscars for Best Director, Best Actor with Daniel Kaluuya, and then Best Screenplay. Octavia Spencer and Viola Davis tied for the most Grammy nominations for Black women. Denzel, the most nominated Black actor. Just a lot, bro. We're doing great.
We're doing a lot. The melanin is doing a lot of great things.
The melanin's flowing out here. I told y'all on air, those of y'all that didn't tune in, Black History Month, we extended it from January, and then we'll let you know when it's over.
Year-round. It's year-round.
It's indefinite. We'll let you know whenever we decide to go in opposite direction. But something we didn't get to bring up on air, something I wanted to ask you guys about, kind of ran out of time. So recently, one of my favorite comedians in the world has come back in the spotlight. Dave Chappelle. Last year he released 2 specials. This past year he just released 2 specials on Netflix. So he's getting back out there, but he's got a little bit of a lot of backlash. Basically, he's made some jokes regarding the transgender community and the LGBTQ community, and people haven't been taking it that well. People find some of his jokes insensitive, inappropriate. Me personally, I've grown up watching Dave Chappelle, watched the Chappelle Show, watched his stand-ups. I don't see anything different than how he's treated any other demographic, but I can see where perhaps you may take offense to what he's done. And so I really just want to open it up to you guys, maybe a broader question of how can you do comedy, or can you still do comedy in the time that we live in terms of like political consciousness, like how we have to be careful about the way we say our words. Can you still be a comedian and be funny, or is it just different? Is it different?
Go ahead, Ricky.
I feel that Dave has always been. He's always pushed the boundaries and stuff. I think it's hard to tell people though how to feel, especially trans people of that community, LGBTQ community. I think it's hard for us as straight people to just tell them how they should feel. But I do feel that their jokes, everybody gets jokes, and everybody gets jokes all the time. There are bad jokes. There are jokes that are, insensitive. There are jokes that can hurt people. I don't think that's Dave. I don't think that's what he ever is trying to do. He's just funny, He just makes fun of everybody. Everybody gets jokes. I think that maybe we are. I don't want to say that people are being sensitive, but I feel like maybe it's getting blown out of context a little bit. The context is getting lost.
Young Shelby.
I mean, I feel like they're just looking to pin somebody to on something else. I feel like we're in a hypersensitive world right now with a lot of things. We come to like gender neutral bathrooms and those conversations, and like the sensitivity of the fluidity and things like that. Sometimes some people can get lost in it and try to figure out, where am I in here? I think it's just a hypersensitive society we live in, as opposed to what we come from, Richard Pryor's and Eddie Murphy's and things like that. I think. Man.
You try watching Raw.
You're gonna get hit, and I just
now.
feel like it has to be a seperation of the comedy and the getting offended. I feel like you would know. You should know the space of when somebody's directly coming from you, rather than if you sitting with your boys, you cracking up with them. They're roasting. They might be hitting more sensitive spots because they know you personally. And then at the end of the day, we walk we don't think anything of that. Even with our peers, if you're not with your boys, girls, and things that we do, and what we call each other. So it's like knowing the funny and then knowing the offensive. And if you go back and you really are trying to figure out if Dave Chappelle was trying to target you, or go back and look at some of the stuff that he's done, and like towards his own satire of his own community. Like it's really an art that we have to understand. Sometimes that art can be exploited and also be offensive, but satire is an art, and I think it is hard to do nowadays. Like I said, in this hypersensitive society that we live in, and I really feel like Dave should keep doing his thing, and then if that's not you don't watch him. That's not your audience. You know what I'm saying? Just like we have different parties, you got Republicans, you got conservatives and liberals and Democrats. It's different. Everybody has their different things. You just have to figure out. You obviously know Dave's not your man if that's not your thing.
Yeah.
But the verdict of that, I don't feel like. I don't even feel like he was careless in how he did it. I just feel like it was just a joke and it's just something that rolled off his tongue.
I do feel. I feel like a lot of people, not everyone, but a good portion of people that are really upset about this, didn't watch the special.
They just heard that
just like
part.
heard the joke out of context, or taking a piece of the joke out of context. But like every single, even the touchier jokes that he says, like you would hear him either beforehand or later. He will clarify his position. He will clarify. Oh, I have zero issue with the trans community. I have zero issue with the gay community. He'll say that, and he'll even he'll go so far as to say things that. For someone to assure you, when he was making his transgender thing, he mentions that he took taking a transgender woman home, and like just making and not he didn't fetishize her or anything. He just mentioned like, oh, it's a woman. What you mean? You know what I'm saying? And so there's a difference between showing a hate or a bigoted view towards a group and just going, let's just tell jokes. Because for me. I love comedy because it makes it easy to talk about really, really, really difficult things.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with Dave Chappelle, at least for me, is he takes things that are really difficult to talk about and really difficult to say and for some people to understand. He takes these ideas that some people just don't get. I may understand them, some people may not really get it. And he takes them and he makes it funny and he makes it easier to talk about and easier to swallow and digest. And does let you turn it on its head and go, huh. I see I see how that works out. Yeah. I think comedy's alive and well and can exist, and I think in the time that we're in now, I think we need comedy more than ever.
It helps us talk about
it helps you bring up the conversations. It allows you to have the conversation, have the story to be able to let you have conversations. Think about how many conversations that show started based on funny situations. Think about the boyfriend that he slept with a man at one point. But went back to go with women. That was a funny situation in the show. It's like, wow, the way they handled that was really funny. But you didn't see, the bi community coming out and freaking out. And it's just because of the way that it was handled, and it was less just the style that it was done was different. But it was still comedy used in order to further. Some sort of idea or to spark a discussion.
I feel like a note on that. I thought of like one great show, A Different World. Like they talked about some heavy stuff, HIV, police brutality, racism, and it all came from super funny people. And I'm telling you, when I was like, Dwayne got serious, I was like, whoa, what just happened? But the context of it all, you needed to laugh, and the way that they put it in there with real stuff. And I think Grownish is trying to do that too. It's just comedy is necessary.
It's
essential.
It's the styles that may make or break you. Right. And like you said, if something isn't your style, then it's totally okay. It's totally okay not to.
Yeah, but you can't. Everything can't be an issue.
Yeah,
true.
That's the difference. If it bothers you and the way he speaks bothers you, and it's just not your type of comedy, like by all means, don't listen to it. You know what I'm saying? I support you in feeling that way, but at the same time, let's not try to act like
it's not like
he's an enemy. Let's not try to act like
house, talking wild about.
That's definitely not the same thing. It's not the same thing. That's just how.
Because you got the controversy with the Migos too, and what they said now.
Offset.
Yeah, with Offset, and then him coming out and saying that he was quoting Big Shit.
And I'm gonna be honest, 100%. I do not think he knows what that word means
at all. Zero.
I don't think he'll know a lot of words.
I don't think he meant
He
to.
knew it like that much and what it could do.
But
and how
I
it
can't-
affect
Not at all.
people.
I don't think so.
See, that's why we sometimes say things that
That-
and we don't think it's gonna affect people. Now that can be careless, but it's also like, oh, I didn't
Well,
expect
we're
you
not
to
we're
take
not
it
gonna
that
cape for
way.
him, but you know that's a whole nother argument. But I
It
think,
is. But I
what it comes down
think
to-
that's where it comes. I'm thinking like you don't think it's like that.
Yeah.
You and sometimes you should like think, yeah, it's gonna be that serious. This is how it's gonna affect people. But in other ways, like I really like Dave Chappelle. Like y'all. I already said and gave a disclaimer. I didn't mean anything by it.
Yeah.
But I want to tell the show because it is funny. Because it's just life. That's just how life
That's just how
happens.
life is.
Life is just funny.
I think he says something
specific
like
people.
that in the show. He's like, life's just.
I have not watched the special.
Yeah, and I think I would personally, I would say watch it. Especially if you grew
No,
up watching
I'm
Dave
going
Chappelle,
to.
especially if you watch
Dave
Chappelle's
Chappelle.
show.
Watch it.
I think if you've watched Chappelle's show, if you've watched his comedy and it is not new to you, it is still him. He still
Right.
got it. If you didn't grow up watching him, yeah, I can see where it'd be a
He
shock.
have a little trouble.
Yeah,
but he's still fun. He's a funny
He's
guy.
a funny guy. So, but I think it comes
Real.
down to I think it just comes down to your guys' preference and what you want to do. And so I guess the question falls on y'all. How do y'all feel about comedy and what it means in today's world? Can it really exist the way that it has? Do we need to like rethink it? How do y'all feel about the Dave Chappelle controversy? Any of those things? Comment to us. Use the hashtag Unfiltered ATX. Talk to us on Twitter.
Yeah.
You know, we'll be here all week. Just holler at us, man. We always hear Unfiltered ATX, the realest ones on the radio.
Alright, I was supposed to say something.
I was
Well,
going to say, but you go ahead.
you can go ahead and I'll close this up.
Oh, I was gonna say anything that y'all want to talk about that we don't get to talk about in the air. And you feel like maybe it's important. You can hit us up and let us know. We'll definitely do segments like this to talk about it. This is gonna be a little, I guess, more loose. This one probably didn't feel as loose.
Because this is our first one.
Yeah, it's our first
fresh
one.
out.
We're getting to know us, so we're getting to know you.
So it's
So
gonna be a little more loose, but yeah, it's just,
Be on the lookout. You'll get to know the insides of us a little bit more,
Yeah.
who we really are.
Right. because we are unfiltered, we us individually are unfiltered, and the show is we want to talk about things that affect us and concern.
Things that you guys care about.
Yeah. So I'm Shelby Alexandria, Ricky, Josh.
Stay up.